Good morning, everyone. My name is Menekşe Kaya. I am the cluster manager for Construction Cluster Ireland. Thanks for joining us today at this meeting, this morning's Meet the Member session. This series aims to foster collaboration among our members by getting to know each other, expertise, and service areas. So that helps you identifying right partners for your business needs and your projects. Today, we are joined by FlowForma. Rebecca McManus, Territory Manager at FlowForma, will present this morning and take your questions at the end. Thanks, Rebecca, for joining us today, and feel free to share your screen when you are ready, please.
That's great. Thanks so much for having us. It's great to be a part of this. So I'm Rebecca McManus, the Territory Manager here at FlowForma. So I'm just going to share my screen now. And can you see that okay?
I think it's all loading. Yeah, I can see now. Perfect.
You can see it now. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so FlowForma, so we're the business process automation tool that sits on top of SharePoint. We're a 100% no code tool as well. So today what I'm going to be talking about is just giving you a bit of an overview of FlowForma. I'll also talk about one of our case studies, the A14. I'll talk about what process automation looks like with FlowForma, some ROI stats that our customers have seen, and also talk about how flexible and scalable our solution is. So again, about FlowForma, we're an award-winning process automation provider. We've revolutionized the BPM space, and we also have global recognition from Forrester Wave, and we're a Microsoft Gold partner. We've over 200,000 users globally, and that's across 20 countries. And two of our biggest markets that we'd be in now would be the UK and the US will be our two strongest markets that we have. So FlowForma process automation, it's unlimited documents, unlimited workflows, and unlimited forms. So with FlowForma, you'll be able to eliminate the likes of email, paper, and Excel, and streamline communications between teams within your organization. So this is because everything we have is unlimited. So we're 5 times faster than any other provider on the market. So for example, what might take you, say, 5 weeks to build with one solution would only take you, say, less than a week to build with ourselves. And again, it's faster because it's 100% no code. So you don't need a team of developers or IT professionals to build out these workflows and processes. So again, my background is commercial and I'm able to build workflows within FlowForma. It's all a series of drop downs and business rules that are readily available in the system. And again, we have a flat fee annual structure and we're not consumption based. So that's why it's an affordable tool. So this is a quote from one of our customers, James Morgan, who is a part of the A14 team. So one of the main reasons for choosing FlowForma was the simplicity of it and lack of coding. We previously looked at Nintex and K2, and from their point of view, they were cost prohibitive. So these are some of the challenges that our customers face. So we see a lot of manual processes, logistical challenges, excessive paperwork, poor reporting ability and no visibility over data, poor governance and lost documentation, and also a distributed workforce. And then a couple of challenges we also see are that they are heavily reliant on manual processes, operational efficiency, and there's also a global shortage of IT development skills, and also IT costs can be quite costly. So with FlowForma, we're able to solve all of these problems. So again, just back to our case study here, the A14. So this is the largest road construction project in the UK, and that was a joint venture between Costain, Skanska and Balfour. Now, obviously, they're a very big organisation, and a JV obviously has a lot of people involved, but we can cater towards all sizes of organisations. But with the A14, they automated over 76 processes with FlowForma. And for one single process alone, a TRM process, they saved 3,800 hours of admin. And they were also able to save £77,000. And that's just for one process alone. So you can imagine the kind of return on investment you'll be able to see when you start digitizing and automating. So some other examples of the processes they were able to automate were the likes of labor procurement, permit to dig, site visit requests, joiners and leavers, requisitions, risk monitoring, and supply chain. So again, if we look at some other customer proof points, so Aon, one of our customers, were able to digitise over 40 processes. And Beaumont Hospital in Dublin saved €279,000 for one process they automated alone. Grant Thornton had a process time improvement of 60%, and the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine had automated over 200 processes in their organisation. So if we look here, this is the FlowForma dashboard. So if you can see here, we have our different tiles or processes here on the top. If you look over here to the right-hand side, we have our Twitter feed linked here, and then you can also see the likes of events here coming up. This is an example of a materials requisition form. You can see here we have our customer's logo added here. So here are all the steps within the process. And then you have all your questions then down here. And you can do lots of different things with FlowForma. So whether that's tables that need to be created, yes, no answers, numbers, geolocations for the likes of addresses, you can do all of that. You can also have an e-signature added here, for example. So our solution is fully customizable. So whatever it is, whatever way your process looks, you'll be able to build it out with FlowForma. And we'll be able to discuss all this with you as well if you want to discuss that further in terms of diving into your processes. And then we have Power BI. So Power BI can sit on top of FlowForma, and it acts as like a pane of glass over all of your data. So you have different views and visibility over your processes. So if you look here to the left-hand side, you can pull different lists from SharePoint. So different sites, for example, here. And if you have a look over here, you can see things like, processes that have been closed, open, in progress, or not started. So with this, then you'd be able to see the likes of strengths and weaknesses within certain processes, and you'd be able to then identify potential bottlenecks within those processes. So you can use Power BI to build out dashboards to whatever is important to you. Whatever kind of reports or visibility that is important to you, you'd be able to do that with. And then if we talk about the ROI that you would see with FlowForma, so we have, say, low value, high volume processes. So for example, if you automate, say, 3 processes, you'll see return on investment, say, after 5 months. So what's really important to highlight with this, if we look at the next one, say high value to low volume processes, potentially 9 processes, you'd see a return on investment in 9 months. So you can start seeing cost savings pretty much immediately when you implement FlowForma. But what's really important to note is that there is a cost of doing nothing. So that's why it's important to not delay digitization and digitalizing your processes and workflows, and just to get started sooner rather than later. So that's something that we'd be able to help you with as well. So we often work quite closely with our customers in terms of, doing, say, a proof of value workshop, where what we'd be able to do is calculate the potential return on investment that you would see. So we talk about, say, the current state and the as-is state, and then look at the future state and what kind of return on investment you could see in, say, 1 all the way up then to year 3. And then if we have a look at our just product overview, again, it's a no-code solution. So it's 100% no-code. So you don't need developers to build this out. It's unlimited documents, workflows, and forms. We also have FlowForma Engage. And what that does is it allows you to include external partners within those processes. So if you're working with contractors, consultants, partners, clients, anyone that's outside of your organization, you'll be able to communicate with them through the process. We also have FlowForma Connect. So if you're using other solutions, we'll be able to communicate with those other solutions using our FlowForma Connect. We also have the likes of the FlowForma Decision, Intel, and Governance. So the IT team, for example, will be able to, say, test processes, and then you'll be able to release them then to the rest of the organization once that's done. And that's also useful then for the likes of audit trails and everything like that. And again, so you can access FlowForma from any device, any location. So we have the apps for the Android and the iOS. and also the iPad you'll be able to access it from as well. So this is really useful if you're on the go, if you're on site, or if you're at meetings and you need to get something approved. So you'll be able to do all of this on the go. So you don't have to go back to the office, print out a form, fill in a form, scan it, upload it again. So you're completely eliminating this, and you don't have to do all that travel to and from different places. So how do we transfer skills to allow you to become proficient? So we also include an 8-week onboarding program called Sure Start. So there's plenty of hand holding here. So over the course of the 8 weeks, what we will do is 2 full-day workshops with you in order to get you trained up and comfortable and familiar with the solution. What we'll do then is weekly sessions afterwards to get your first process live in that time frame. So we'll do weekly check-ins for a couple of hours. So our goal here is to support you and give you the skill set required to automate processes. And we'll also support you throughout. So if you ever need anything with us, we'll always be there, to help. And again, with FlowForma being a flexible and scalable solution. So with FlowForma, you can drive innovation across the whole organization. So we know both internal and customer challenges can require creative thinking. So when exploring customer and colleague needs and challenges, you'll be able to solve these problems using our business process automation tool. But in any area of the business, it's not just limited to construction. So again, we have our construction processes, say like a risk assessment or incident management, but you can use it for the likes of any HR processes you have. You could use it for the finance team. So you're not limited to just construction. You can scale it out to the whole organization and automate any process that you have. And we'll again work closely with you in order to do this. And then finally, here are some of our customer logos that we have. So you see the likes of Skanska, Costain. We also have the likes of the NHS here, Balfour Beatty as well, and Inland Rail. So that's just like an example of some of the customers that we have. So that's my presentation. So thanks so much for listening to me today. And I can answer any questions that you have.
Great. Thanks, Rebecca, for this. It actually seems like, we have to transit from paper-based work to digital work. As exactly what you said, it has to be sooner than later. So that is giving us actually lots of tools to actually enable to do that. So there are a few questions. And
Yeah.
the first one actually is, you mentioned that it is flat rate and not consumption based. So is
Yeah.
there any users limit up to like X people?
Not so basically what we would do is we would speak with every organization separately, depending on the size of the company and all of that, and we'd be able to figure that out. It is user based internally, but I think what's important to note is that with the engage feature, it's unlimited third party anonymous user access. So you're not counting the users for the people that are outside the organization, and that would be one of our USPs.
That's brilliant. And you also mentioned that onboarding process, you touched a bit, it will take 8 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So how long will it take for a company to, let me see here, after this onboarding process, how long it will take for a company to get up and running to get the benefits?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it really just depends. I think when it comes to the process itself, it depends on how complex the process is. So if you have a process that has 50 steps in it, that's going to take longer to build than a process that might only have 3 steps in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kind of goes back to the low value, high value processes. So it really just depends, I think, what one is important to get done now. Like, what process do you have right now that's going to have the biggest impact? That's you're going to see the most return on investment. So when we do the 2 full-day training with you, that's just, we'll give you a process just to teach you how to use the system, and it's one of our own. And then when we do the weekly sessions with you, we'll get that first process built. So the goal is to have you up and running in really only 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. And then it'll be a couple of months after that that you'll probably see the return on investment and the cost savings. And we can work with you, like we have our, like, our ROI calculators internally and our proof of value workshops we do. So we can help you calculate the cost benefits there as well. And obviously, the more processes you automate, the more value you're going to see. So if you automate one, you'll see value. But if you kind of have a goal that, say, you're going to automate 10 that year, you're going to see much more cost savings.
So you could also help with optimization after the workshops and
Yes,
users use it. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. And then, like, looking at scaling it to different teams. So some of our customers will kind of start with one team, say it's project management, for example.
Mm,
They'll do it there, but then they'll gradually scale it out and with the different teams in the organization.
okay, that's great. And another question, if our members started to use different software or different platform, but they were not satisfied in the end, so uh, is there an integration possibility with your platform if they are not happy with something else, but they already started some kind of uh, process in the past? What are the integration options?
Yeah, so we kind of, like, we would work closely with our integration team internally to, like, map out what that would look like. But because we have the connectors available there, and we'd recently just built in some REST APIs, so it's easy to integrate with other solutions. But what we would do is we would have a session with you, and we'd ask you, what's the solution you're using? Is it on-prem? Is it in the cloud? What exactly do you need the two systems to do? When do they need to talk to each other? And we'd map that out, and make sure that we're, like, we can definitely do it. But it's we have, like, lots of different integrations that we have. Like, we integrate with Teams, for example.
Okay, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And final questions on, I don't know how much it is to reply at this stage, but you said that I guess your platform could be eligible for grants supported by government.
Yes, potentially. So that's something that we're just looking into at the
Mm,
moment. So it was yourself who had got me on that webinar there on Tuesday, and that was the Agile
Innovation
Fund,
fund, yeah.
Innovation Fund with Enterprise Ireland. So we did have a conversation with them this week, and it looks like we might be able to work with them, or, like, you could use that grant to pay for FlowForma. We'd have to figure out, because I know there's an application
Mm,
form for it. So we could work closely together on that. But
mm.
that is a potential avenue. And there is some other ones that I know we're in discussions with as well that you could potentially use to implement FlowForma.
Perfect. Yeah, it's good to know. At least, even though it's actually early stages, it's good to know
Yeah.
that opportunity that could be developed to grant some fundings and supports to
Yeah.
reduce the cost.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because we know, especially, like, with, kind of SMEs, there's obviously a fear, and there's a risk associated with implementing a new solution. So, like, we understand that, but I suppose what we can offer as well is just conversations with our current customers. We're happy to have, like, reference calls and arrange things like that for peace of mind.
All right. Okay, I think that's it, Rebecca. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you everyone for joining us today in this morning. So we are recording the session and circulate the recording after the event, and I'll stop sharing. Thank you very much. Bye now.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it.